Hello, beautiful people. How are you today? Thank you for taking the time to listen to my videos. Maybe one day, I don't know, might be a better day for me, but it's the same day as it was yesterday. So I'm still here today. Last night, I saw a video about the MENA ex-pilot being killed because he actually wrote a book about MENA, and he wrote two 9/11 exposés, and basically the CIA, who is believed to be the CIA, came in and killed him and killed his two kids in California. And now it's trying to be covered up. It says he had some explosive evidence on 9/11. Well, that just really sucks. But it honestly goes to show you what they do to their own agents, these guys that work for them and that know more than the general public, and start to stand up for their own rights, stand up for themselves, and stand up for their families. These Nazi, Luciferian, Freemason, evil motherfuckers don't give a fuck. So I'm going to really entitle this video, it's about aliens and visitors. What I'm going to do is paint a picture of my hypothesis and say things that no one I've heard say, built on my experiences from encountering what I call non-human entities. Now, I want you to really understand that non-human doesn't really necessarily mean alien from outer space. See, this is something that people really don't really clue into and really wrap their head around and grasp, because I've really heard no one touch on this subject. But the more you listen to this video, it's going to become clearer to you what I believe is actually going on with the American government. Now, first, I'd like to bring your attention to cloning. Now, we all know that a company has admitted they cloned a sheep a long time ago. There are companies right now doing cloning in secrecy, doing all kinds of things that are against God and that are unnatural. Another thing about cloning is, what I really want you to understand is that the Nazis did perfect cloning. The Russians found samples of supposedly Hitler's DNA, and they've run experiments on that DNA, and they know it is cloned blood. So what they think is Hitler cloned himself, and he had actual clones, and that was a clone of himself that they blew up in that bunker. Well, that's not too far-fetched. I mean, we do know that Saddam Hussein was rumored to have at least 5 to 10 different doubles of himself, so they could never really track him down and find who he was. And it's rumored that the Saddam Hussein that they killed was an actual clone, because no one actually ever heard that man who they said was Saddam Hussein speak. So maybe Saddam Hussein is still alive. We all know we shouldn't have went after him. He had nothing to do with 9/11. It was Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden that was in bed with the Bushes. with their Saudi Arabia money. All the so-called terrorists in 9/11 were from Saudi Arabia, but we haven't even fucking lifted a finger against Saudi Arabia. We attacked Iran. We went in, destabilized Saddam, and now shit's all fucked up in Syria, and now even Korea is saying, stop fucking attacking the world, Nazis. They're threatening to blow up Austin and all kinds of places, and the news intelligence is basically saying that it's bullshit, and who knows what's about to happen. So we can clone. The company Monsanto's proves this. Now, Monsanto's proves how far the cloning has gone from when we brought the Nazis over to the United States. Monsanto's actually takes fish DNA and injects it into strawberries to give strawberries more coloring. But this is an abomination. This is what Monsanto's strawberries are, and this is what is done to them. It has been proven scientifically. Monsanto's is taking DNA of animals and fish and injecting them into fruits and vegetables to give them longevity, to make them stronger, to make them bigger. It's a fucking abomination, and this shit is making us sick. But nevertheless, Monsanto's is proving that our government does have this technology because Obama just passed the Monsanto's Protection Act, because it is basically, he's protecting their number one eugenics company. What is eugenics? Eugenics is racist Nazi fucking science, to where they build a specific product through DNA manipulation to attack a specific fucking race. It is Nazi science. This is exactly what Monsanto's is, done through cloning. So another thing that I really want you to understand is this. We brought this technology and these racist scientist motherfuckers over to the United States a very long time ago under Operation Paperclip. These motherfuckers were brought to NASA. They were brought to San Antonio. They were brought to Austin, Texas. They were brought to the major places that have to do with eugenics and the space program. Now, what I want you to ask yourself is, why NASA? Why Nazis at NASA? I know, because I grew up with the son of a Nazi scientist that was relocated to Texas, to Houston, to work at NASA. Mr. Treadway, Chris Treadway, was my best friend growing up. His fucking father's a pedophile. That goes along with what we know about these sick, twisted motherfuckers. So obviously, if Chris's father was a pedophile, his father was a pedophile, the Nazi scientist. So we brought over pedophiles, rapists, killers, racist motherfuckers to the United States and let them do whatever the fuck they wanted to do to the American public, because they possess specific knowledge that our government still to this day will kill anyone if they have proof of it. So now what I want you to understand is, this is what I hypothesized, because a few people do actually think this along with me. Now, the Nazis perfected vertical lift. What I mean is, they built a ship that could go up, down, left, right, vertical. I mean, with unfathomable speed. And it was said, if you are in this ship, your reference of time is affected because this ship can move through the matrix of time, because this is what its magnetic pulse does. Now, let me help you understand one of the things that we do know through Hollywood and what people have said when they are kidnapped by a UFO. Their cars shut down. Everything around them shuts down. Why does this happen? It is called an electromagnetic pulse. The same kind of pulse that the Nazi ship, the Bell, emitted. This is a fact. In movies, they show you before the alien ship comes, all your shit just shuts down. That's called an electromagnetic pulse. The American government, with Nikola Tesla and other of his top scientists during the Philadelphia Project, were trying to perfect this pulse to render a ship being able to be seen by radar. Philadelphia Project, Project Phoenix, Project Montauk, which Project Montauk is rumored to have been a time travel project where they've been taking kids and running experiments on children. Just really sick black ops projects in the United States that, again, I don't really want you to know about. But the fact of the matter is, electronic pulse, magnetic pulse, okay, is a magnetic pulse. So now they have brainwashed the American public to simply thinking this, okay? If you are a UFO victim and your child is taken because they go after kids, I'll tell you right now from personal experience, I had encounters as a child. I can tell you when I was a little bit older, like 12, these encounters continued. But they weren't what I know to be as the aliens that they show on TV. Now, one of the things that I really want you to understand is this. I'll get back into my own personal experience later. But a magnetic pulse is a magnetic pulse. And bottom line, that's very archaic technology. Because the way the Nazis actually perfected this and built this technology was based on magnets. The same magnetic engines that we have in a lot of our devices today are rotary devices that are based on negative and positive polarity and having a pole, one end that's negative charge, the other end that's positive charge, and switching these charges at specific points, 4 points, mainly forming a cross, that's in a circular mechanism, and these pulses rotate and change, and they push the bar in the middle because it's on a rotating device, and it spins, and it creates energy, and it creates a pulse. This is technically a design of an engine that we've had patented for a very long time. So when I say archaic, I mean it's very simple technology. There's nothing advanced about it. It is very simple based on positive and negative polarity. So when we brought these Nazis over to the United States, what they started to have everyone believe is it is these aliens, these other beings kidnapping Americans. Simply, what they were doing, I strongly believe, and from my personal experience, is they just started kidnapping innocent Americans and continuing to run experimentations and their eugenics operations on the general public. And now we can clearly see this today, and I hope you will see the same things that I see after listening to this video. Now, it's funny how the mass media just pushes all of this agenda of the grays, these big-eyed, gray-skinned motherfuckers. Basically, these are fucking demons, people. These are interdimensional demons that the Bible calls the fallen ones, the outcast ones. Now, one of the things I really want you to understand is this. The Nazi bell, and basically within this magnetic pulse, because when they discovered this energy and this technology and its capabilities, they didn't really know or grasp what it could do. From documentaries and from books that I've read, they discovered that they could, in a sense, break through time. Because when they were in the ship, the Bell, when the Nazis were in their Bell ship, and they figured out how to not have their devices affected by the magnetic pulse, they experienced that the men inside the ship experienced a relapse of time. What I mean by relapse of time is they would be in the ship for, say, a minute, and say 20, 30 minutes or an hour would go by outside the ship. So, one thing we do know is Roswell. It's the most covered up event throughout history. New Mexico, Texas, South Texas. What happened? Well, I will tell you one thing about my family is I strongly urge you to research the Hills. They were the first, one of the first abductees, and basically no credibility was given to their family because they were of mixed race. White man, black woman. So automatically the American government said, oh, why would aliens travel this far and kidnap some, unfit DNA? Here is proof that the Nazi scientists and the American eugenics was already prevalent. They're already throwing things away through racism, which doesn't have anything to do with science, technically. So one thing I really want you to understand is all these Nazi, KKK, powermonger scientists were racist even before they got involved with the Nazis. So how can you be a really good scientist and be so racist and biased? What this actually does is this closes down a lot of doors to your thinking and possibilities. So what I want you to understand is I really do believe it was the Nazi Bell that crashed in the place that we know as Roswell, that crashed in New Mexico, and it was the U.S. government getting hold of the Nazi technology that they heard rumors about. So nobody knows why they lied so much even to this day. It is the most blacked out shit that you know about. And even, let me tell you, there have been so many movies based on this. And based on, yeah, we got aliens and yeah, this. We don't know. I think it's all bullshit. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Doesn't this make a little bit more sense? Because the U.S. government got a Nazi ship that crashed. They didn't know anything about this technology. They didn't know how to work it. So rather than tell the truth and alarm the whole public that the Nazis have this kind of technology and are more advanced than them, spread two kinds of rumors. The first one, say it's a balloon. And then for the people that did really see it, that had been seeing this UFO fly in American airspace, because there was plenty of reports about this. And then it crashed. Because it was new technology that the Nazis really didn't know how to work. Or maybe it was shot down by one of our planes. Who knows? But then the U.S. ran with the whole alien shit. Maybe they went even as far as to have people see psychologists and pay these psychologists to brainwash and technically put these people under hypnosis and say they saw aliens. They can go this far. They have gone this far. They do go this far. And then, after the war is over, they spend billions of dollars to retrieve these Nazi scientists from around the world. And what I mean by billions of dollars, it's a fact. Now, what I mean by fact is, look into the Admiral Byrd expedition. Just type in the net, Admiral Byrd, his Antarctica expedition. This is a fact. That they paid this man an unlimited amount of funds because he had no limit to his funds to go to Antarctica and to capture the Nazi scientists and the Nazi technology, but he was unsuccessful. He was defeated within days. Now let me tell you about Antarctica. It is rumored that the Nazis went to Argentina because Argentina was a very well-known Nazi safe haven, and they gave tons of money to the Argentina government and Argentinian scientists to set up base in Argentina. Why Argentina? Because Argentina was a great place strategically to get into Antarctica or to go into the United States through the Latin countries. And yes, now we have a so-called Jesuit Pope from Argentina. It doesn't look Latin at all. So, if you look at the Nazi preoccupation of Argentina and what happened to the Latin-looking Argentinians, well, the Nazis have been in Argentina for a very long time. This was their stomping ground during the Nazi occupation. They took power of that country a long time ago. Now we have a Nazi fucking Jesuit Pope protecting their secrets and pedophiles. So now what I really want you to understand is what's factual and what's bullshit. Let me tell you what's bullshit. Aliens. It's bullshit what they taught us and shoved down our throat and spoon-fed us through the History Channel, which is run by the Jesuit Freemason Nazis. And then you get these conspiracy theorists that think they know what's up, and then you get all these stupid people wearing all of these gray t-shirts and the alien agenda, and I know what's up and I'm waiting for them to come. And then you have the people that even lie about being abducted because it's the cool thing to do. Yeah, I've seen them. Yes, they're my friends. I talk to them too. I get messages in my head from them. I'm in commune with God. Have you ever heard these things from people? So basically what I want you to really understand is all of this bullshit. What I suspect the American government has been doing, under the full disclosure of the American government, because it's the biggest blacked out black ops programs, is they've been taking American children, they've been taking women for their black ops hybridization programs. And what I mean by hybridization is they've been taking human DNA and combining it with animal DNA. I mean, the Nazi fucking scientists are mad scientists, sick eugenics motherfuckers. I mean, they have cloning. And from companies like Monsanto's that poison our food, when you study Monsanto's and what they're actually doing, they actually have proven to scientists, and if you research it, the public, of how far the eugenics and genetic manipulation has gone. They're combining animal DNA with vegetable properties, vegetable materials, to create a super vegetable, to create superfood. Why? Well, just because they can do it, number one. Number two, to prove how it is done. And number three, to poison the fuck out of us, to ultimately kill us. And it's the depopulation agenda. Why? Have you ever seen films like Logan's Run, where they have these genetically fit people and they live to the age of what, 25, 30, and then they're recycled, they're basically killed? There's a new movie, I think it's called Atlas, something Atlas Map, with Bruce, is it Bruce Willis? No, excuse me, Tom Hanks. Where this Hollywood film, you know, their main character is, one of the main characters' last name is Ewing. Well, I am friends with Tom Hanks on Facebook. My cousin was part of the CIA. I have been friends with people in Hollywood for a very long time. My whole family's in the entertainment industry. So when I saw this movie, I was just like, huh? Ewing's a very rare name. So I'd like to bring your attention to that fact, but mostly to the biggest fact of the movie. Now, if you haven't seen Atlas Island, or I don't know, I forget what it's called, Map Atlas. Now, they have in the future where they have these clones that serve one purpose: to serve you when you come in and do whatever you want, and then they sleep, and then they wake up and do the same thing. But then they have a clone that basically discovers that they feed the clone regurgitated, chopped up, reprocessed clone juice, because these clones live off these juices that are protein, that's everything that they need, their superfood. Okay? It is absolutely sick when they reveal this. So then the clone rebels and starts the first clone movement and rebel movement in the film, and then they take you into the future and they show you what this all started. But again, I want to really remind you that they have a clone that finds out that when this clone's time is up, doesn't go to some pretty heaven-like place. It is just killed, hung on a hook, and reprocessed, and that reprocessing is fed to a new living clone. In a nutshell, this is what Monsanto's is doing to us right now. Fact. They are feeding the public regurgitated, unfit, reprocessed, genetically modified organisms, GMOs. So now that you've seen the correlation between this film and Hollywood, that they're brainwashing you on a subliminal level to try to get you to accept. Well, this concept is very old. From Logan's Run, which is from the 70s. So this should tell you that people have written about this. They've hypothesized about this. And the fucking government wants this. Because they want to depopulize the fucking world. Kill all of us, 85% of us. And then repopulate the world with their genetically so-called fit race. Because let me tell you something. They have a problem. They have a problem with me. They have a problem with their genetic experiments that they've already done called slavery. Which part one was, taking the slaves from around the world and mixing them with the sovereign people here, the Blackfoots and the Nubian Moors. These are my descendants. I have French, Dutch, English, Haitian, Jamaican, sovereign Blackfoot, Moor, and even Indian in my blood. So one of the things that they didn't plan on is they cannot control us. They learned that a more productive slave is a slave that is given the idea that that slave is free. Thus we have the Emancipation Proclamation, which to emancipate means to transfer ownership of your property to another establishment or organization. And basically in this act they give us a birth certificate, which is a bond, which we're still bonded in chains, invisible chains they are nevertheless. But they said, okay, slaves, we're going to give you some rights, but we're still going to own you. But we're actually going to pass this law to give a group of men, your slave owners, more power. And what I mean by more power is the Emancipation Proclamation Act. They attached other acts onto this act, which was the birth of the corporation, which this legally gave a group of men that are incorporated the same rights as one slave. Basically, giving them more power that you can't go after this group of men. You have to go after their corporation. You have to go after their one legal name, their entity. So this was the Freemasons' trick. Tell the slaves they're free and take more power in actuality. This is the foundation of the corporation today. Today, everyone is enslaved by the Emancipation Proclamation, the straw man bond, the entity we know as our birth certificate. Please study more about it. I speak a lot about it in many videos, but now I want you to clearly see the little trick. So now we know the government was in trouble because the slaves were able to read and write and became stronger, smarter, and more aware of what was happening. Thus the same thing in Map Atlas. The clone was a slave. So basically, what I really want you to understand is this. What I really suspect is, in these underground bases, and under the full disclosure of the government programs, and anybody that works at these programs are highly brainwashed, are highly controlled. So when their memories do start to come back, they're bullshit memories that are implanted through subliminal suggestion and hypnosis. They're called blocks to really block out what is actually going on. There are a few movies that actually show this, that show so-called abductees and having memories of aliens and all this stuff. And then behind those memories are memories of seeing actual men promenading as aliens. So now what I want you to understand is our government does have vertical lift technology, and they have since they brought the Nazi scientists over to the United States to work at NASA. I grew up with one of these sons of these sick, twisted motherfuckers. I've known about a relocated Nazi since I was 13. They've been watching me and stalking my family and hunting my family since we moved into 781 Country Place in Spring Branch. That's where I lived. If you really want to research it, go look where 781 Country Place is. It's right off Memorial. Right across the street is the most exclusive, huge homes in Spring Branch. The Memorial community is an exclusive, rich community. What, you think these Nazi scientists that were relocated to the United States were living in the ghetto? Fuck no. They were living amongst the rich and the government officials and all the top scientists in the world. When they brought these Nazis over, they gave them free range to breed with the rich fucking KKK Freemason families and daughters. The biggest way to get Nazi scientists to talk, set them up, give them money, let them run free, let them get some pussy, let them get with little boys, because we all know pillow talk is the best way to get information through sex. I mean, if you don't believe me, you know how much Russia spends on, training their beautiful, drop-dead, gorgeous women throughout the world. Little Nikita. I mean, come on, people. I'm just telling you facts. Now, this is what they did for the Nazi scientists. Now, in my hypothesis, you got the Nazi bell, UFO technology, then they brought over the Nazis to teach them how to use and run the technology. Now it's 2013. You get all these UFO sightings all over the world, all over the United States. Motherfuckers putting up videos. Yeah, aliens do exist. Look at this. Yeah, aliens do exist. One of the things I'd like to tell you stupid motherfuckers that, get a hard on from watching these videos and say, oh yeah, look, oh my god, it's a ship. Yeah, okay, it's a ship. But does it mean it's of alien origin? It's 2013. The Nazis were able to build a ship to fly from Germany to the United States. If they were allowed to perfect these kinds of ships, they would have bombed and destroyed the United States. Soulfully, they were trying to make a ship that would travel this far. They were actually looking into alternative energies, because one of the things the United States did so well was shut down the oil trade into Germany and other countries that the Nazis occupied. Fact. So, now you really start to see the clear picture of what I'm getting at. I'm not saying aliens don't exist, because I strongly know that they do. And I will get into my personal experience after I say this. But let me help you understand in clarity. Hollywood. Alien agenda movies. Alien origin movies. Greys. Draconians. Aliens coming and taking you and doing experiments on you. One of the most famous experiments is anal probing. So, they actually got motherfuckers to believe that, aliens are gonna fly, through time and space and stick shit up our ass. I mean, abductees have clearly stated that they have anal pain after their abduction. Experience time lapse of 2 to 3 hours. And then it's said that they have microchips under their skin. Okay, people? Now, let me tell you about some things that I know to be factual. Fact is, IBM is a Nazi company. IBM created the machines that are the sole purpose why the Hebrews had to have tattoos on their arm, because it was a more sufficient way of keeping track of all your slaves. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. IBM had a machine, a hole punch machine that they built that was the sole purpose to keeping track of all of the Nazi slaves. IBM is responsible for building the radio frequency identifier chip. The very same thing that Walmart and tons of companies are using right now in their products to keep track of their products, and they want to put this radio frequency identifier chip in your toothpaste canisters, in your clothes, in all your shit, to basically send you a message, oh, your toothpaste is almost gone, buy a new one. Well, the problem is this chip omits microwaves, radio frequencies that are very harmful to you. It's basically the same shit your cell phone works on. Your cell phone omits radio frequency waves that are toxic and very harmful to the human mind. That's why we have an outbreak of tumors for all of the people that use cell phones. They're amplified microwaves. So now IBM, the Nazi company, has chips that they can actually put into your skin, and they want to have you have all your information, your ID, your bank account, so you can go in a grocery store and just wave your hand over the mechanism and buy your food. This is called the mark of the beast. So what I really want you to understand is they have brainwashed the general public into thinking that they have these chips, alien origin chips in their skin to keep track of them. This is the most ludicrous shit I've ever heard. If you really believe this, please, let's be logical and listen up. This Nazi company, IBM, was already in bed with the Nazis. Is an American company. Still is an American company run by Nazi Freemasons, KKK motherfuckers. Okay? Fact. So it's 2013. How far do you think these Nazi companies have gone in secret? Huh? Do you think they're going to tell you? They're still keeping track of their slaves, people. But now they don't have a number you can see. I have to tattoo it on your arm or use a hole punch machine. It's called radio frequencies, where they can identify you wherever you go and actually communicate with you on a subliminal, subconscious level through your cell phone, through cell phone towers, through fucking helicopters and airplanes flying low range over where you live. Through weapons like HARP, because it's based on microwave amplified technology, and they say they use this technology to communicate with bases that are underground. They shoot microwaves underground to bases filled with gigabytes of information that are heavily encoded. HARP. Fact. So to actually try to hide all of this from the general public, they got Hollywood and the History Channel talking about the Freemasons' 13 bloodline are descendants of draconians, lizard race. They got you wanting to believe Nibiru exists, this huge planet that's supposedly 5 times larger than Earth, that's supposedly going to crash into Earth and destroy it. This is what documentaries sponsored by the History Channel are feeding you so-called truthers, you so-called really stupid motherfuckers. I strongly urge you to look at a video called Nibiru Debunked, where you have NASA scientists and other space scientists breaking down the truth about Nibiru and how it's complete bullshit. But hey, if you got these conspiracy theorists, these so-called truthers running rampant, and then you have this second agenda to make the third agenda come true, which is taking control of the truth movement with your propaganda and lies, and innocents making this truth because you've been waiting a long time to start filling the public with bullshit to cover up what you're actually doing. So in a nutshell, I want you to understand, they're taking people, implanting them with RDIF chips, and a lot of the times taking kids and women, and you don't see them again. Now, I really want you to understand, if you think your mother, sister, brother, family member have been abducted by aliens, where are you gonna go? Cops? Fuck no. Where are you gonna go? Ask Agent Mulder of the X-Files. He was an FBI agent that had access to files and files and files of kidnapped victims. What happened to him? His sister was taken by these so-called aliens. Because of his father was CIA, and he sold out his fucking daughter to these Nazis running the United States. X-Files. They tried to tell you, but you didn't want to listen. So now, what you have is the general public actually buying into that the so-called 13 monarchy Nazi Luciferians are part of this bloodline. Well, let me tell you something. The Bible. What was the entity that got us kicked out of Eden? It was a snake, right? Reptile. Wickedness. Throughout time and history, the sign of these people have been reptiles, snakes. Reptiles can heal themselves quickly. Reptiles can grow back their limbs. Reptiles eat humans. Alligators, boa constrictors. I mean, shit, they can eat a baby. Facts. So, what I really want to paint a picture is, what if our government and these Luciferian Nazi motherfuckers that, sell their soul to the devil, because I do believe in these interdimensional entities, and to try to bring these entities forth into this dimension, what they've actually done is they've been running experiments, genetic manipulation, crossbreeding manipulation on humans and snakes, trying to physically bring these demonic entities into this realm, this dimension. And then they do witchcraft to possess these individuals, these clone entities. This makes a lot more sense than what they have you believing in Hollywood, have you believing all the shit that they do. Look at the Greys, okay? Let's talk about the Greys, these things that they see. They're demons, people. That's all. They're demons with crossbred genetic DNA of reptiles and humans, because these evil motherfuckers strongly believe that they're descendants of reptiles. Because throughout history, it was the talking snake that told Eve to take a bite of the tree of knowledge. So these evil motherfuckers really think that playing God, playing with our DNA, literally, the DNA of fish, animals, vegetables, anything they please, to simply make a more fit slave, to make a super soldier to control us, to actually have living among us, and to possibly inject themselves with this hybridization formula to prolong their wicked lives. And then fly around their UFOs in the public eye and make sure that people see them, and then abduct people, put microchips in their heads, and then literally shoot messages into their heads through microwaves, because the human subliminal, subconscious way of speaking can be manipulated, because our brains have a specific frequency, each one of our brains. This is simply why when you go to the doctor, they take a CAT scan. Why do they take a CAT scan? To see what's going on in your head and to get the frequency of your mind. So if you've ever had a CAT scan, it's on file. Fact. Fact is, if you have a machine that operates on microwave technology, because sound, all sound, can be broken down into numbers. This is a fact. I'm a musician. I know. So if all sound can be broken down into numbers, speech can be broken down into a numerical form. This numerical form can be communicated through microwaves, technology that they don't tell you about, to subliminally and subconsciously get your brain to pick up on. And you wouldn't even hear it. You wouldn't fucking know it. But with the beauty of the radio frequency identifier chip, this chip is tuned to identify with this frequency that's shot at it and to emit a frequency where? Into your subconscious, into your brain. Nazi technology in the United States. To me, this makes a lot more sense than what they're feeding the general public in movies, through so-called documentation by the History Channel, which is owned by the Masons. These motherfuckers that bow down and give their life to protect the secrets of their brothers. These fucking Nazi, Luciferian, snake-worshipping Freemasons. Now, would they admit this technology? No. Do they want you to know anything about it? No. Do they want you to be 85% of that population that they kill? Yeah. And then take over the earth and then put their so-called seed, their hybridization seed on this earth and repopulate it. Eugenics. Madmen. Nazi, racist, fucking scientists running rampant in the United States under the full disclosure of so-called aliens. If you're taken, if your child comes up kidnapped and you've seen aliens and you've seen ships and they say you've been marked, your child's been marked, and they rip apart your family, rip apart your fucking mind, project these alien visits into your fucking head and have your neighbors thinking you're crazy. This is a science they have perfected. Aliens wouldn't travel through time and space to do this. Not to us. Why? Why now? Why in the time where these 13 bloodlines, these Luciferian Nazis, are to take over the earth? It's said that they're supposed to do. Now, is it so hard for you to believe that these motherfuckers are putting all this shit out and saying that they take orders from these lizards, 6-foot hybrid lizards, 7-foot lizards that do exist, but they created them and they're under actually their control? But they don't want you to know this. They want you to think that these are the aliens and they can come down and just wipe you out and kill you and eat your kids. Which they do eat humans. They're fucking lizards. So that's what I call, flipping the script. Because ultimately it's these Nazi fucking men that are in control of these fucking lizards because they created these demons. They brought these demons into our dimension through hybridization and witchcraft and demonic possession. So they can possess a hybrid body of being of human and lizard DNA. So now I want to tell you about my own personal experiences. First, I'll tell you about my most recent one. And things I cannot disclose because honestly I just don't feel like it, and some things are better left for movies. They'll have to pay me to talk about these things, and it doesn't matter if I say them or not. I know there are greater powers watching over me and watching everything around me. And what I mean by greater powers is these concepts and all this bullshit were revealed to me without a doubt in Paris. In Paris, I was living on the streets. In Paris, I was on the trail of these Rothschild Nazi motherfuckers that came all the way down to Romania and got me fired from my job. And I couldn't find work in Romania, so they hoped that, I would just die in the winter. This is what they did, I didn't die. So basically what I did is I went to Rothschild World, which is France. The Rothschilds own more land in France than any Frenchman. They run Paris with an iron fucking hand. Nazis. They have access to U.S. government technology. All of it. They run the Federal Reserve. They print the money. The euro and the dollar. The Federal Trade and Trust fucking bank is their bank. All the funding from all these black ops programs come from them. Like I said, all you stupid agents and truthers, follow the money, dummies. It's easy to see. So the Rothschilds, let me tell you, I was taken in by FBI agents. I was taken in by French intelligence and the French Foreign Legion because I guess they assumed that I was the perfect fucking spy. Why? Because I was living on the streets. I was surviving in Paris. They would have people come at times and give me money or give me food when I needed it. I had no place that I was clearly staying other than the subway line 8 when it got cold. I slept in there. So I was actually writing stories and revealing that the Nazis had a base in the place where I was always sleeping and staying, which is the Bastille. Think the French intelligence didn't know about it? Think the FBI didn't know about it? I, with my writings, made it factual. How? Well, it's pretty simple, people. Know your history. Let me tell you the history of the Bastille really quick. In the Bastille, I dug up arrowheads. Fossilized arrowheads. Tons of them. I sat out in the Bastille and basically let people walk by and see these arrowheads that I dug up in the Bastille, which was a byproduct of the Rothschild Freemason family digging up the Bastille to make the Bastille that we know today. Okay? So now you have tons of arrowheads basically sitting on topsoil that you can basically walk around and you don't have to dig that deep to find them. They were from a fishing village that was a Nubian Moor fishing village predating the Bastille, the fort, before Paris was built up. It used to be a very old fishing village. And I know you haven't heard of French Indians because there weren't any. They were aboriginals. This is why you have the sovereign French being, really short, curly hair, light eyes, and dark skin. Fact. Okay? I was told this by a lot of French scientists and other Frenchmen about history. I had a chance to talk to him. Got very educated about the Bastille. So this is a fact, okay? One of the other facts is that the Rothschilds purchased this property a very long time ago. Fact. Another fact is when the Nazis came to specifically the Bastille, they took it over. Why? Because a lot of the Rothschilds lived around there. They still do. They love that area, right off the river, right in the center of Paris. Boom. Okay? Fact. Another fact. The Bastille had a keep. Now, for all you uneducated historians or people that don't know, a keep is a part of the fort that is really deep under the fort, and it protects the secrets of the country or the royalty. So, this fort, I don't know, probably had a moat. It was just impenetrable. Even if you did take over the Bastille, the fort above, it is designed so you cannot get in. So people can live underground for a long period of time. Get it? So, that's a fact. Another fact is me being onto the case of the Rothschilds disclosed what was probably in this underground Bastille keep. Because the gold that was taken, the billions of dollars, some say trillion, I don't know. The gold, factually, that was taken from the gold deposit in the Twin Towers on the subway trains, from the Twin Towers before they were imploded, just came up missing, okay, people? This gold belonged to the Japanese and Chinese. Technically. So, what I suspected is the Rothschilds, Federal Reserve, the Freemasons did this. 9/11. They took the gold on the trains, trains to trucks, trucks to boats. Then these boats met up with these sort of type luxury barges that you can basically go into shallow water like the Bastille, and basically undetected with scuba divers or whatever, having access to the bottom of your ship, take it into the Bastille that has supposedly an underwater entrance in the Bastille. Just park your nice little yacht right there. So a month after I started to write this on my Facebook and started to expose what I think happened, and basically the Bastille, I solved certain Masonic clues in the Bastille. I will post that Freemason note where I wrote and exposed all of their shit under this note, because I don't really want to take the time, I have the time to get into it, but I don't want to now. Basically, an old Freemason buried Solomon's Key, which I would call an old Aboriginal rock. And this rock was supposedly the key to the fort to get into the disclosed place where the Rothschilds, where I suspect had been just dumping money. Now, in order to save money, what I suspect is the Freemasons created a place where you couldn't get in, locked it where you could just dump money in, and you couldn't access it. This is what I suspect they did to the money in 9/11, because there was some kind of chute that was built where you could just pour money or gold down into. And at the bottom of this fort is just like when you see in the movies, like coins, gold, all this money just... This is what I suspected in the Bastille Fort, still to this day. I call it the Rothschild's piggy bank. So anyways, to make a long story short, this is where I think they took the 9/11 gold. I started to expose it because of the Freemason clues that I solved in 2 weeks. Clues that no other Freemason could solve because I dug up Solomon's stone, the key. I found out where it was buried. When I dug it up, the Freemasons living across the street, they were screaming, partying, because they were watching me. They had cameras on me 24/7. Because nobody broke down all the clues like me. So let me tell you, a week after I dug up Solomon's key, I was attacked by the owner of the Grand Blue and his waiter. And basically the cops from across the street of the Bastille took me to jail. When they had on camera that these motherfuckers came and attacked me. I'm homeless. They took me to jail. Why? Because they wanted to get the stone. And that's exactly what they did. No telling how long this stone had been buried there. I suspect it had been buried since the days of Solomon. So after they did this, you know what I did? I was approached by FBI agents. I was approached by a lot of agents because they had suspected the Rothschilds using HARP technology and other governmental technology in ways that was harmful and very detrimental to the public. Okay? One of the things these stupid Nazi motherfuckers were doing in Paris, and they almost destroyed Paris because they wanted to further their agenda, and they really didn't give a fuck if the top half of the center of Paris was just blown up. Let me tell you what they were doing, people. Now, with no help of government agents, I exposed this on my own. The HARP cars, specially outfitted cars with HARP technology, changing the weather literally when they would drive around through the microwave frequencies that they were emitting, okay? Let me help you understand something. Now, with HARP, in order for HARP to work, you cannot have clouds in the sky where the antennas are located. You cannot, because the microwaves cannot shoot through clouds. The actual structure of clouds disrupts them. So what they actually do is they shoot microwaves into the clouds and basically destroy the clouds, cumulus clouds, and make rain or change the weather, do whatever they fucking please, okay? So they actually had this technology mounted in cars. Now, when I was living in Paris, I noticed a very strange phenomenon. Literally, groups of cars that the public, that even the general public around me don't know about, that is given to them through Nazi companies like Ford and other companies. They drive these cars. They work in specific places. They're put in these jobs by Masons. They are Masons. And they're given these cars, whether they know about it or not. I suspect a lot of them did know about them and a lot of them didn't. Now basically these cars are moving antennas. Literally. And when you get, say, 10, 5, 15 of these cars driving in a line, driving in specific places, they act like a congregation of HARP antennas, but mobile. I hope you understand. And please look up pictures of HARP. So basically what I discovered is the HARP program is also used in the communication of the Stargate program, because they are using microwave technology to open interdimensional portals. How do I know this? Well, let me tell you why. I'm not going to get too much into this story because I really want to save it for movies and shit. I mean, the other Legionnaires that work on this program know, so I really don't have to really say a thing about it because they know what I did. This is why I was approached and protected. This is why a lot of Rothschild agents were fucking killed. This is why a lot of agents are still fucking killed today when they want to fuck with me. Or people that I know. Anyways, basically one night, I was sleeping in the subway of the Bastille, and one thing I had been noticing is a special train that goes through the subway at like 1, 2 o'clock at night. And what I mean by a special train is it's not a subway train. It is a big train, one piece. I say one piece because no other train's connected to it. And it looks like it moves like a lot of shit in it, and it's very hard to get into. Something like that would be carrying gold or money. Now, I jumped onto this train and found out that this train took a side track into the underground portion of the Bastille. Now, what I mean by the underground portion is, one of the things that I learned through the French is the Nazis, when Hitler came to Paris, they turned the keep of the Bastille into a bomb-proof shelter. So all the rich and all the Rothschilds and all the Nazis living in that area, if Paris was bombed at any time, they could take a boat, they could take an underground entrance, whatever, directly into the Bastille, the bomb-proof shelter. So, what I really want you to understand is the Bastille was made to withstand nuclear blows. Okay? It's 2012 when this happened. I go into an underground base. Now, I know you don't really know much about the Stargate program, people, and the whole idea of us being able to travel to other planets called off-worlds, but just suppose it's true. Just suppose the Rothschilds and their black programs are in control of programs like this, and they stole this technology, and basically they figured out what a Stargate does and how it works, and they actually were able to build a very archaic one of their own that was highly unstable. And they were actually using this machine in the underground base of Paris. And the problem is that they were using these HARP cars to basically bounce the coordinates basically into a satellite, and the satellite would bounce these coordinates of this energy into space, and they'd open up portals and go wherever they need to go. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's how this shit works. I don't care if you believe me or not. I was the one that talked to a French scientist, and I blew his mind of my knowledge because he couldn't believe how simple it was, and they were looking for all this complex shit, and there wasn't anything complex about it. He was a scientist from Iran. Anyways, so this is what I believed that they were doing. So then I snuck into the base, and let me just tell you that I went places and saw things and was in contact with things that you wouldn't believe. Beautiful things. Not these lizard reptilian dumbass motherfuckers. And really good people, a lot like us, where these reptilian hybrid super soldiers had gone and actually taken over in the name of the Illuminati, because they are their hybrid super soldiers that on the show Stargate they want you to believe that they're raw and they're the guys that are going to come and attack Earth and enslave us. Well, it's called brainwashing and submission, people. Haven't you seen V? Well, let me just flip the script on V a little bit, both of them. What if V really told you that these were Nazi scientists, they perfected UFO technology, and they created lizard hybrids of humans? The first ones were called Greys because they really focused on the mind. The second hybrids were called Draconian lizards because they really focused on the body and strength and control of the mind, and they used the Greys to control the lizards and humans. So then the government has been building shit off-world, ships, all kinds of shit for quite a while, using other technology based on our brothers and sisters that are very human, actually our descendants, based on their technology, because they were locked away from this evil shit, and they were able to progress without the lizards and the demonization of humanity. No telling where they are. They're living in peace, love. And these evil motherfuckers come there and enslave them. So now they take this technology, take their hybridization, get advanced technology, and boom! Enslave the human race and say it's the Draconians or Draculs or the Goa'uld according to TV. So in a sense, already getting your mind to psychologically break down because, oh God, I've heard of the Goa'uld, I've seen all of this on TV, and oh, they're here. Wiping your capacity out to actually fight and think. This was proven that they can do this during 9/11. It was a test. Attack, submission, lies, outright propaganda, and clear lies. And then get the general public and actual people with more factual documentary videos and documented proof to actually factually prove that it was not planes, that it was not done by the people that they said was done by, with facts, and then get the general public to still shut the fuck up, sit back, do nothing, and vote for a president that continues to do more destructive shit than Bush did in his first term than Bush did in his 2 terms. Fact. If you haven't seen Loose Change, if you haven't seen September Clues, if you haven't seen all the documentaries that just prove these things with facts. But our government, the American government, Obama, won't do a goddamn thing. But Obama will protect Monsanto's. Protect their eugenics company. Protect their black ops program. Because what if Monsanto's is sued? All of its records has to come out, and some things that I'm saying come out. So I hope I've given you a lot to think about. Believe that we do have brothers and sisters on off-worlds, and they do know about us, and their technology has been taken and turned against us. But it's not what you think. Why do you think they're paying millions and millions of dollars to literally scare us? To literally force us into submission if they take your kid or someone that you know or love? And to blame it on an entity that they want you to believe that you could possibly never catch or stop? And then fly around in their Nazi ships in public eye and let you record them in a sense of these Nazis throwing their dick and balls out at you. Rubbing it in your face. And you can't do shit about it. Them saying, this is what we got, motherfuckers. Yeah, they're here. Record me. Put me on YouTube. Put me on TV. Give more validity to our lies. Why would aliens fly around so much? Huh? The ones that I know have always gone undetected, never mess with the human race because they want us to progress. They want us to be more than we can be, and if we can beat this evil, we can see through these lies, break through this false matrix, bring them to their knees. There is nothing we cannot do. Simple. But first, we have to look at the bullshit and know that it's bullshit. That's it. So hopefully one day I will get into telling you about my abduction, because my abduction was by Nazis, not aliens. When they take you on their ship, they inject you with some shit that supposedly render you like you can't move. You can see and hear everything that's going on around you, but you are paralyzed, literally. This happened to me when I was a kid, and guess what? Their shit didn't work. Guess what I did as a kid? I found one of their weapons, fucking killed them. And guess what happened to the ship? Crashed. But one thing I really want you to understand is there are parallel dimensions and good entities watching over us. They're nothing like the Draconians. Nothing like what these evil motherfuckers want you to think are alien. They're beings of goodness and love that wish us the best, beings that we know as angels, that are more complex and beautiful and very different than you could ever imagine. So I want you to get a clear picture of the holy war and what's been going on and all the lies. because they're going to be coming to an end. And the government is being held accountable. Trust me, their ships, their hybridized lizards, all their evil shit is dying and getting killed as I speak. I can hear the fear of this being put out into the dimensional plane of this dimension. I can feel it, I can hear it, because it's the truth for me. This is my truth. I don't expect you to believe me. I don't expect you to believe not one word I said. I'm doing this for me, so I can hear me, so I can confirm what has happened, so I can remember. And so for that handful of people that's out there that do believe and see the things the way I do, so they can know they're not alone. And that's it. For all the other people that think this is bullshit, I'm crazy, this, I don't care about you. You can stay hooked up to the matrix and part of the system that is filling your mind and your family and your body with poison and fear. Good luck to you. There's a bigger plan for me and the people I love. And that's it. This is what I was told, and this is what I was promised. And so one day, I'm here right now, but I'm going to be gone. On some nice beach, doing what I want, with my girl, being happy. Ain't nobody ever going to fuck with me. That's it. And whether that beach is going to be on this planet or another one, I cannot say. Don't want to, don't care. So, they know what I did to their shit. When I was a kid, I was like, what? Young. Like 10 years old? 9 years old? They know what I did. And then my father, who got around these Nazi motherfuckers that gave him a job and technically put him in Spring Branch by giving him another job and said, oh, Tom, live here, it's great. They knew all their Nazis were here. They knew what I did as a kid. They wanted to continue to watch me just like they're watching and listening now. Fuck you. Die. No need for your lies when the truth is so beautiful. Just on my things that I put on YouTube, I hope somebody comes to me and says, hey, I like your stories. I want to make a movie. Somebody already came to me and said, hey, I love your poetry. I've never read so much emotion and feeling and words to make me feel so much in my life. And they go and sabotage this company. They sabotage me from DJ and making any money because they want me to sit here in nothingness. Okay, so I'll do that. They don't want me to have an operation on my arm so it can get fully functional again. So if I want to go out into the streets and become homeless again, I can do that. They don't want that. So I sit and I'm recording this and showing you how they're full of shit. No censors, unedited. That's it. I am Zakaos. Some used to call me the best. I know what I did in Paris. I know how many times that they've taken everything from me and I had to live on the streets. And when snow's coming down on me, walking all night into the endless longevity of nothingness. Because I know if I slay or sleep in that fucking cold, I'm dying, off I go. You don't know how I lived. You don't know what I survived. I don't need to lie. So I'm a poet, a writer, I make music, and I'm a lover of life and truth. If you don't want to see what they do, that's your problem. I know what they do. And why do I know what they do? Because I'm with God. And that's it. All of these other bullshit motherfuckers are full of shit. And to shut me down, they killed people in my family. Stalked me my whole fucking life. Put my father here so he'd put his family here. I don't fear. These fucking bullshit Luciferian Nazi faggots are just a bunch of bullshit gender bender queers. That's it. So if you don't want to hear it, if you want to brainwash the public, cool. I know what I do. That's it. Love unto you. Don't believe the bullshit. Peace. In public because they possess specific knowledge that our government still to this day will kill anyone if they have proof of it. So now what I want you to understand is this is what I hypothesized, because a few people do actually think this along with me. Now the Nazis perfected vertical lift. What I mean is they built a ship that could go up, down, left, right, vertical. I mean with unfathomable speed. And it was said if you are in this ship, your reference of time is affected because this ship can move through the matrix of time. Because this is what its magnetic pulse does. Now, let me help you understand one of the things that we do know through Hollywood and what people have said when they are kidnapped by a UFO. Their cars shut down. Everything around them shuts down. Why does this happen? It is called an electromagnetic pulse. The same kind of pulse that the Nazi ship, the Bell, emitted. This is a fact. In movies, they show you before the alien ship comes, all your shit just shuts down. That's called an electromagnetic pulse. The American government, with Nikola Tesla and other of his top scientists during the Philadelphia Project, were trying to perfect this pulse to render a ship being able to not to be seen by radar. Philadelphia Project, actual clone, because no one actually ever heard that man who they said was Saddam Hussein speak. So maybe Saddam Hussein is still alive. We all know we shouldn't have went after him. He had nothing to do with 9/11. It was Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden that was in bed with the Bushes, with their Saudi Arabia money. All the so-called terrorists in 9/11 were from Saudi Arabia, but we haven't even fucking lifted a finger against Saudi Arabia. We attacked Iran, we went in, destabilized Saddam, and now shit's all fucked up in Syria, and now even Korea is saying, stop fucking attacking the world, Nazis. They're threatening to blow up Austin and all kinds of places, and the news intelligence is basically saying that it's bullshit, and who knows what's about to happen. So we can clone. The company Monsanto's proves this. Now, Monsanto's proves how far the cloning has gone from when we brought the Nazis over to the United States. Monsanto's actually takes fish DNA and injects it into strawberries to give strawberries more coloring. But this is an abomination. This is what Monsanto strawberries are, and this is what is done to them. It has been proven scientifically. Monsanto's is taking DNA of animals and fish and injecting them into fruits and vegetables to give them longevity, to make them stronger, to make them bigger. It's a fucking abomination, and this shit is making us sick. But nevertheless, Monsanto's is proving that our government does have this technology, what I call non-human entities. Now, I want you to really understand that non-human doesn't really necessarily mean alien from outer space. See, this is something that people really don't really clue into and really wrap their head around and grasp, because I've really heard no one touch on this subject. But the more you listen to this video, it's going to become clearer to you what I believe is actually going on with the American government. Now first, I'd like to bring your attention to cloning. Now we all know that a company has admitted they cloned a sheep a long time ago. There are companies right now doing cloning in secrecy, doing all kinds of things that are against God and that are unnatural. Another thing about cloning is, what I really want you to understand is that the Nazis did perfect cloning. The Russians found samples of supposedly Hitler's DNA, and they've run experiments on that DNA, and they know it is cloned blood. So what they think is Hitler cloned himself, and he had actual clones, and that was a clone of himself that they blew up in that bunker. Well, that's not too far-fetched. I mean, we do know that Saddam Hussein was rumored to have at least 5 to 10 different doubles of himself, so they could never really track him down and find who he was. And it's rumored that the Saddam Hussein that they killed was an actor. Hello, beautiful people. How are you today? Thank you for taking the time to listen to my videos. Maybe one day, I don't know, might be a better day for me, but it's the same day as it was yesterday. So I'm still here today. Last night I saw a video about the MENA ex-pilot being killed because he actually wrote a book about MENA, and he wrote 2 9/11 exposés, and basically the CIA, who is believed to be the CIA, came in and killed him and killed his 2 kids in California. And now it's trying to be covered up. It says he had some explosive evidence on 9/11. Well, that just really sucks. But it honestly goes to show you what they do to their own agents, these guys that work for them and that know more than the general public, and start to stand up for their own rights, stand up for themselves, and stand up for their families. These Nazi, Luciferian, Freemason, evil motherfuckers don't give a fuck. So I'm going to really entitle this video, it's about aliens and visitors. What I'm going to do is paint a picture of my hypothesis and say things that no one I've heard say, built on my experiences from encountering technology, because Obama just passed the Monsanto's Protection Act because it is basically, he's protecting their #1 eugenics company. What is eugenics? Eugenics is racist Nazi fucking science to where they build a specific product through DNA manipulation to attack a specific fucking race. It is Nazi science. This is exactly what Monsanto's is. Done through cloning. So another thing that I really want you to understand is this. We brought this technology and these racist scientist motherfuckers over to the United States a very long time ago under Operation Paperclip. These motherfuckers were brought to NASA. They were brought to San Antonio. They were brought to Austin, Texas. They were brought to the major places that have to do with eugenics and the space program. Now, what I want you to ask yourself is, why NASA? Why Nazis at NASA? I know because I grew up with the son of a Nazi scientist that was relocated to Texas, to Houston, to work at NASA. Mr. Treadway, Chris Treadway, was my best friend growing up. His fucking father's a pedophile. That goes along with what we know about these sick, twisted motherfuckers. So obviously, if Chris's father was a pedophile, his father was a pedophile, the Nazi scientist. So we brought over pedophiles, rapists, killers, racist motherfuckers to the United States and let them do whatever the fuck they wanted to do to the American